Okay, so if you've clicked this video, you know that this is going to be controversial. These are my opinions regarding this. Now, you can disagree with them, you can hate them, you might hate them. But when it comes to breastfeeding online, this is my opinion. So let's dive in. Now, to give you some backstory, Twitch streamer Heather Kent, or as she's known by her streaming name, Heathered Effect, recently ran a stream in which she casually breastfed her baby live. And look, there's no problem with breastfeeding, don't get me wrong, right? The issue then came from everyone having issues with this, claiming that females are using breastfeeding to get their views up, because the sheer thought of seeing a breast for some reason turns all men into untamable monsters. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either, but this is what seems to have happened, right? Now, Heather was taken aback by the amount of hate that she was getting, claiming that she was trying to steal other viewers' views by using her body in order to create a more appealing stream. I guess that point itself is pretty stupid, and yeah, I get that a lot of men are threatened, especially when a lot of men seem to see viewing a tit as some kind of golden chalice in terms of views. Don't ask me, I don't understand how that works anyway, but that's apparently what it is. Anyways, after this, Twitch removed her clip and haven't really responded as to why this was done. She then reposted it to Twitter, claiming that she was normalizing breastfeeding on Twitch. And this is where I have the issue, right? It's not about breastfeeding per se, because Heather herself goes on to say that there are sheets and blankets that can be used to cover her baby. Then she creates an excuse, and I'll call it an excuse for one simple reason. She says that the older a child gets, the more fidgety they are, which is fine, right? But then her excuse for this is that then the babies can remove the sheet, which again, perfectly understandable, right? I get that. But what it does is it leaves her with two options. And this is the way that I see it, right? And I'll preface this, by the way, by saying that I'm not a woman and I'll never be able to breastfeed, so I'll never understand that aspect of life, right? Not ever in my life will I be able to do that. It's just not something that I can do. Now, you can call me sexist if you want. I'm not sexist in any way, shape, or form, but you can say that because this is my opinion on the matter. So, you know, go ahead, go for your life. Go leave a comment down below that says you're a sexist pig. I dare you to do that, right? Fact number one, though, she can stop streaming when she has to breastfeed, and I get it. That hurts her cash flow, and in truth, I'll agree. Why should she need to stop streaming and lose money? That's not fair on her at all, right? Because she has a baby, she has to lose cash. That's not fair, and that's where if you agree with me, then we agree. I don't agree that she deserves to lose money just because she has to breastfeed. 100% behind her for that one, right? But here is fact number two. She said that there are coverings that you can get for your baby. So the way I see it is she can go and get one of these coverings. It does not stop the normalization of breastfeeding because she's still breastfeeding, and we all know that she's breastfeeding, right? And then at the very least, she has a reason to say, hey, I tried to cover my baby. When you all saw this, it was kind of out of my control if the baby, you know, picks off the covering, right? It's a simple fix. At least the way I see it, that's a simple fix. I'm sure that there are sheets that have been created. Possibly they're more expensive, fine. But there has to be sheets that are out there that prepare or allow for the baby not to knock it off, right? That maybe have pegs or something that clip on so the baby can't expose itself. I don't know that though, to be honest with you. I haven't done any research in terms of that. I'm just saying this is what I think in terms of this actually happening. Now, I'm sure that there are going to be people who say, well, you're a man, what would you know about this? And that my opinion is basically completely wrong, and that's normal because people will always disagree here and there, and no matter what happens. And that's a normal part of, right? Here's the thing, right? I agree that breastfeeding is a normal part of life. She actually goes on to say, though, that people online said that going to the toilet is a normal part of life, and we don't want to see that. But then she refutes this by saying that this is different. If you throw up or defecate outside, then you get fined. But that's not so with breastfeeding. Now, I'm going to point out something here. Throwing up, right, unless you force yourself to do so, does not incur a fine. So let's just remove that bit of speculation. Sure, if you defecate outside, yes, that makes sense. But if you throw up and you didn't try to make yourself throw up, you're not going to get a fine. Let's just get that misinformation off the table, right? Defecation, like I said, I agree. There's a fine for that one, right? Not a problem. But I would wager that if someone had diarrhea and crapped their pants, let's put that as an example, the possibility of getting a fine, especially if they could prove that they couldn't, make it to a toilet, would be pretty much incredibly low. Now, am I saying that this is the same as breastfeeding? 100% no. Okay, just don't try and misquote me there. 100% this is not the same as breastfeeding. But we've already covered how she can get out of that issue. She has options, and any woman who wants to put it to Twitch and say this is wrong or we can't do stuff like that, you can sit down, right? You could like take a second, sit down. There are ways to keep breastfeeding normal, and I'm not saying we don't make breastfeeding a normal thing, but to protect yourself from people who get triggered. And be honest with yourself, we're in this PC world, right? And everybody gets triggered for some stupid reason or another. No matter what, no one does anything without being triggered for some reason. And that's just how it is right now. So if people aren't happy with what they see, they're going to complain. That's how it works. And these big companies are going to have to do something about that. That's, again, just the way that it works. Now, while I don't think that the video itself should have been removed, I do think that Twitch should have said something regarding this in order to ensure that, there are clear guidelines. I mean, what are the rules regarding what people can and can't do? It's things like this that are completely unclear. So we need more info. We 100% we need to know more about this. Now, she also goes on to say that it would be helpful if Twitch took a stand to support mothers. And yeah, they definitely look, they can, it's their company. Make people realize that breastfeeding is normal. 100% agree with you. No worries there, right? But at the same time, allow mothers to realize that if it's possible, you can cover your child while breastfeeding. This is what I think that Twitch should do. If they're going to take a stand to help mothers, then they need to take a stand so that mothers are also protected, right? If it's possible, you can cover your child while breastfeeding. I don't believe that that's too hard to do. Now, look, I could be wrong. Again, because obviously I can't have babies and I'll never be able to breastfeed, right? I get that. And I'll reiterate again and again and again, that's not something that I will ever be able to do. But there are precautions that Heather can take, and all women, right, in order to ensure that stuff like this doesn't happen. And before I forget, I just want to mention one thing. She basically compared her breastfeeding to other male streamers being able to have no shirt on while they stream, especially those who are avid bodybuilders and go to the gym or run gym Twitch streams. She implies that these are the same. I'm sorry, this is not the same thing at all, and she knows it, and you wouldn't say something like this unless you 100% did know it. A woman having her breasts out and a man having his pecs out are not the same thing. Otherwise, perhaps you can show me a male that she knows, and a male, when I say show me a male, I mean a male that's been born with a penis from birth, right? This is no disrespect to anyone who considers themselves a male that wasn't born with a penis. I want to know from any male that was born with a penis that considers themselves to be a male that has been able to breastfeed ever in life at all, right? And again, no disrespect to anybody, no trying to offend anybody. I just want to know from these people. Yes, it is a little bit prejudiced, or it is a little bit, we're taking only a little group of people because those are the ones that I think will understand, okay? Show me those people. It's kind of like, it's the dumbest comparison that I have ever seen in my life. You cannot, it's not the same comparison, right? Because I'm pretty sure that if a woman saw a man with, let's call it man tits, right, those fat guys, and a guy saw a woman with her breasts out, they're not the same thing, and we know it, and you know it. If you're listening to this, you're 100% sure, right? It's this kind of comparison that it's really stupid. And this is again from my perspective, right? We know that boobs and we know that pecs are very different. But maybe to you, they aren't different. Maybe you feel like they should be treated the same way, even though from the example of breastfeeding, they obviously have different functions. But no, look, we'll forget about that for 1 second. Anyway, look, that is my opinion, guys. I'm going to stress this again. That's my opinion. And my opinion can be wrong. So if you feel like I'm wrong and you know exactly why, let me know down below. What do you think about this whole thing? Should Twitch have taken her video down at all? Or is she completely right to be outraged by the idea that breastfeeding isn't being normalized by a big company like Twitch? Let me know down below, guys, and as always, hit that thumbs up and let me know if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some other content on the channel. Otherwise, as always, spread some peace, spread some love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.